Good to see you, Greg, and thank you for joining. It's been a while. It's been a while. How long
Yeah.
time I haven't heard from you for? A year?
Uh, Over a year, a little
Over.
bit over a year. Yep, yep.
Nice.
When the course ended, uh, well, you advised us to start, you know, uh, job hunting before the course even ended, and
Hmm.
that's what I did. And I did a few interviews.
Let's hold on with that. Let's let's hold the horses, as we say in Eastern Europe.
Yep.
Do you want to tell us who you are and where you're from?
Sure. So my name is Gregory Greaves. I'm originally from Jamaica, and I live here in Florida.
Nice. You guys play soccer really well in Jamaica. I know that.
Yes, yes. We love number one sport is track and field, number two is soccer. Yes.
Whoa, that's cool. That's awesome. And now you live in Florida, right?
I know I live in Florida, in South Florida precisely.
Cool. How
Yeah.
long have you lived in Florida for?
Uh since since 2001 actually.
Oh wow, it's been a while.
It's been a while. Yes. I moved here from Jamaica. I never traveled before. I came straight from Jamaica to Florida, settled here, and did some college, started family, and landed a pretty good job working for, back then it was called Bell South, the telecommunications company, which became AT&T today. And I
Mhm.
was there for about 17, almost 18 years. I was there.
Whoa,
Yeah,
that's a while.
yeah, yes. And it was great. The benefit package was great. The pay was great. It afforded me a pretty good lifestyle. I supported my family myself, bought a house, cars, all those things. But I wanted a change. I really did wanted a change because the working environment was very, very tough. It was outdoor work all day, every day for almost 18 years, working out there in the sun as a technician. So I had enough, and I landed on you.
That's cool. That's cool. All right. Well, tell us, how did you decide to become a QA engineer? What brought you there?
So while working at AT&T, I pretty much did mostly hardware things, work on hardware, everything related to telecommunications. And while doing that, I would come in contact, of course, with software. So we did a fair amount of software testing in conjunction with the hardware that we supported.
Hmm.
And I've always been interested in that since then. Um, Also, while I was in college doing computer engineering, I got exposed to software development as well. But I never made the step until I had a friend who is from Kazakhstan and Timur, and he was working as a QA, and I was like, "What is a QA, man? What is that?" And he gave me the overview of it, and I said, "All right, let me do some research." And when I went on to Google and did some searching, I found your article and I found your backstory and started to do more reading. And every evening I came home from work, here I was on Serge's website, on Codemify website. And I always consult my wife about major things that I wanted to do. And she saw your testimonial videos on your website. And she's originally from Russia. And she's like, "I really like this guy, Greg. I think you should. I think you should really think about not just doing the course, but doing the course with Codemify." And I said, "All right, I'm gonna take the plunge," and that's what I did. That's it. exactly what I did,
Thanks
and
to your wife.
never regretted it at all.
Whoa, that's amazing.
Yep.
Yeah. How do they say it? Happy wife, happy life.
Happy wife. Happy wife, happy life. That's very true.
Oh,
That's very
great.
true. That's very
That's
true.
great. Awesome. So, how long did it take you from from seeing our course for the first time to signing up for it?
I
You
would
take this conversation with the wife?
it was about 3 weeks before I actually decided to take the plunge. It was about 3 weeks after finding Codemify online, and because I wanted to make sure that I like to do my research. So I compared your course to other courses out there, and I just felt like you had a more comprehensive approach to QA, and I like that you created a community as along with the course, so you didn't feel alone. I'm all the way here in Florida, and you're all the way out west, but there was an online community for me to be a part of whenever I had any questions.
Mhm.
The challenges that a lot of students face, it's not really unique to that one student. Chances are someone has been through it as well. So having that community that Codemify created, it really helped. We could talk to our peers, and we could we could vent our frustration in the chats. Those homeworks that we would get so stuck on. Yes,
Uh,
like I'm writing the code, but it's not working. What am I doing? You notice how here I pulled out all my hair. We always found help from each other, and it was amazing. It was really, and I'm not a social media person. I really am not. And it was refreshing to be part of an online community that I felt really comfortable with, and I could always get a response from one of my peers or one of your staff members actually in the group.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yep, yep. Alex remembers you all the time. You were
Yeah,
cute.
exactly. I used to wonder, is he on my time zone? Because I'm in Florida. That's a different, but every time I check, I send a message, I would always get a response. It was
Yeah, so we have a couple of mentors. I'm in US, Far is in US, and
yes.
Alex is in Europe right now. So
Oh, okay.
he's he's whenever you are let's see, whenever I'm already in the bed and
Yes.
you're awake, it's
Yes.
already lunchtime or something. So he's always ready to answer a question.
Yes. I remember once I posted a question and you were responding to me, and you were in Poland, I believe, on vacation. I was like, what? But it was amazing. It was
You
amazing.
know, when I worked on the farm about 15 years ago, my farmer once was working on the weekend, and I was passing by the field. I was like, dude, you're a multimillionaire. Why are you working here? You could have me do the job for you. You could go for a vacation.
Right.
And he was like, you know what? If you are, how do you say, if you like what you do,
It's
you're
not a job.
always on vacation.
That's right. That's right. It's not a
So
job.
same thing with me. On a weekend, answer students. I mean, if it helps you to get the job, hell yeah,
Yeah.
I'll be answering all the time. And I know
Yes.
it helps.
I really can identify with that. When you're doing something that you love, it doesn't feel like a job. It doesn't.
Exactly.
It
Just a
doesn't.
passion.
Like I said, I worked at AT&T for many years, and it afforded me a really good life that most people haven't been able to get. But it was a job, and doing QA work, doing working with software, it doesn't feel like that. It doesn't.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Awesome. Well, tell me, was there a moment where you almost wanted to give up during the course? Were you that, I mean, that's how you got bold. We understand that, but
Oh yeah. Learning any computer language is it's a language, and you're learning something for the first time, it's like when I try to learn Russian. Imagine a Jamaican speaking Russian. It's a language, and there's gonna be a learning curve, and getting around that curve, boy, there were very frustrating moments that you know I just wanted to just quit, really. But when I and this is where the community came in, because when another student is running into this, either the same problem or similar problem, and you can see the frustration, but then when you talk to each other, and
Mhm.
you may not be able to solve it, but you can at least identify where the breakdown is coming, where you're not understanding. That way you can even better articulate yourself to the mentors and let them know what exactly the problem you're having, because half of the battle is identifying the problem you know
Exactly. And this is one of the most important things I think the people need to understand whenever they're going through the course. Trying to identify what is not working on your own and bringing it directly to the mentor is the best way, because number one, you learn to understand the process or the code, and
yeah.
number two, mentor will not have to ask you thousands of questions to get into the reason because you already found it, right?
Exactly, that is very true, Sergi. Very true. I'm living proof of that,
Nice.
man. And when you run into these problems, sometimes they're very challenging even for the mentor. But I'll tell you what, when you run into that problem again, you know exactly what to do. And then you find yourself even helping someone else in the community, in the chat.
Exactly. And when you help someone, you actually learn it in a better
Yeah.
way.
Yes.
And yeah,
Yes.
that's so true. That good thing you mentioned it, that sometimes mentors see the new problems that we haven't seen before, and that's
Yeah.
for the simple reason we're not giving you just a static material.
Right.
We number one, we give you some static knowledge based on the curriculum we have, but
Yeah.
then at the end of the course, we make it dynamic, which means
Yeah.
you start working on the dynamically changing startup
Yeah.
homework. So
Yeah.
pretty much we create test automation framework, and it's not like you create same things everyone do. You're
No,
becoming part of it, and you're creating completely new test cases that no one have ever automated before you. So
that's
that's why
very
you're getting challenged, and our mentors are also like, well, let me see what is the issue. I haven't seen it before.
that's very true. I remember the website that we were uh
Yep.
practicing on. The website was changed, and we're testing, and as we're testing, we're finding bugs that the staff members weren't aware was there. So,
Mhm.
and then we were pulling out over here that, okay, why is this thing failing? Because in our mind it shouldn't be failing, but not realizing we're actually catching bugs that is existing on the website.
That's so true. So true. And what's even better than, with every group we make changes, we try to become better, and now with the groups that we are having right now, we are about to involve them into all the meetings that actual companies having, sprint plannings, retrospectives. So every single student is going to become a part of it, not is going to only read about it. So
Wow.
it's you're joining a startup and you're talking to developers. Even a co-founder might be joining that meeting, so that's
Wow.
becoming even more better than what you had before.
Yes, yes. Working where I work now, I get to see, everything that I was learning throughout the course about software development, the different teams that are involved, and the processes that are involved. It's so refreshing to when I started there, uh, I didn't feel lost. I didn't
Alex
feel
was always there for
lost.
you.
Yes. And in the different meetings, in the different chats and talks, I could I could articulate myself with confidence, because I learned, even though I didn't experience, you know, the different groups that are involved in a software development. I at least was aware of the different groups and a general overview of what they do, you know, which
Exactly.
then made it make sense. The whole software development made sense that way. So yeah.
Yep, yep. Nice. Okay, so you went through the course. You almost dropped. You almost quit. Then, well, somehow you made it until the end, which is awesome. Thank you for that. Thank you for not giving up. And then tell us about the job search process. How did that go? Because I haven't heard from you. I hate people like you. You guys
I
never
know.
tell me about it.
I know.
I
I'm
don't even
guilty
know
of
how it
that.
went.
I'm guilty. My wife didn't when we met, she couldn't understand. She's like, you're not on social media. No, I'm not. I'm the old school type of guy, I guess.
How
Yeah.
young are you, by the way?
I'm sorry?
How young are you?
44.
44. Oh, nice.
44, 44.
Oh, awesome. You are one of our top students by the age. Let's say it that way.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah, yeah. 44 and start the whole career over, and I'm glad I did. I'm glad I did.
Whoa, that's amazing. All right. So how did the interview process go and a job
So the,
search?
so the interview process was very scary at first. Sending out first. Followed your advice about building out the LinkedIn profile, and you gave us examples of how it should look, and the connections that we need to make on LinkedIn, so that really helped. My profile got a lot of exposure
Mhm.
that way. Before you know it, recruiters were checking out my profile. So I was
Nice.
sending out application like every day, sending out application. And then before you know it, I would say a week and a half, almost 2 weeks, I start getting calls and from recruiters and start getting responses from the applications that I was sending out. And then before you know it, almost every week I was doing an interview.
Ooh, that's cool.
Some of them were very challenging. Some of them were very challenging. I remember I was so nervous in this one interview with a defense contractor, W3 Harris, I think they're called, but they're one of the big defense contractor, and they had a hybrid position which was close to my house, and they wanted a QA, and I was so nervous because I passed the first stage interview, and then the second one that came about, they gave me some challenge questions to do and things like that. And man, I was so nervous. I've never done anything like this before. Um, I also did an interview for not for uh, the company that I was working for, AT&T, one of their major competitors. I
Mhm.
did an interview with them as well. Same thing. I was so nervous. But then I started to do some research on my own. YouTube, love YouTube. I started to watch interviews that were there. And on top of that, I remember we did some mock interviews as well, and
Mhm.
which helped in kind of anticipating what type of questions were going to be posed to us. So then, Spirit Airlines, the same thing. Uh, they called me. We did a first interview with Spirit Airlines, and then I thought I did so bad because I was so nervous. Public speaking is not one of my major strong point. And then they called back and said, we want to do a follow-up interview with you. And I was like, really?
Me? You sure?
Really? And yeah, and I did the follow-up interview this time with the department head, and they really liked me, and they offered me a job right there on the spot. You know,
Woohoo! Ooh,
and that's where I've been since then. I started with Spirit Airlines, working at the headquarter building. It's a hybrid position for now, but we'll be going 5 days a week in the office soon.
what a great spirit.
Yes. Started there, and I hit the ground running, like literally running, man. I would say about 7 months after I started, they made me the second lead for the team, for the QA team.
Mhm. Ooh,
Uh,
wow, we're already lead.
yeah, yep, yep.
Jesus Christ, how much?
7 months after started, I was actually even on vacation. I was in Jamaica drinking a red stripe beer, and the QA manager called me. He's like, "Is that music in the background? Can you talk?" I said, "Yeah, I can talk." And I'm there jamming, having a good time. He's like, "Well, there's an opportunity that came up, and we wanted to offer it to you." It was like, "Sure, yeah." 7 months
Wow,
after started. Yep.
that's phenomenal. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. The guy who never told me that he got a job already became a lead.
Exactly.
I hate you even more now.
It's been great. It's been
Well,
great. It's been
that's
great.
awesome. And actually, we have changed a lot since you left. So now, even at that time, I consider our interview preparation was fine, but when I look at what's happening now, every single student, actually, I'm going to scare a lot of people now. Every single student, if you go through the full 5 months and a half of education, you will go through 114 rounds of interview,
Wow.
including our mentors, including myself, and including between students as well.
No way.
So that's quite game changer, I can say. I know.
Wow, that's grueling.
You know, the guy from a marketing team that we have, he said, never tell anyone about 114 rounds of interview. It's going to scare people. I'm like,
Yes.
no, they have to know it because that's how they're going to get the job.
That's true. That is very true. Because, the more comfortable you are in an interview, the better, you'll be out there in the real world. So yeah, all the preparation, bring it on. It's very needed, especially if you've never worked in QA before. And all of a sudden, you know, several people in front of you are asking you different questions. It's not just one person sitting there just, asking you questions. I remember in my interview, there were four people there asking me, just throwing different questions at me. So it can be a bit, nerve wracking if you're not prepared for something like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Whoa, that's amazing. So, since then, you've been working for Spirit. And do you remember the interview questions that you have? I know it's been a while, but maybe based on the fear that you had, you might
Yeah.
have remembered some of them.
Um, I remember having to describe exactly the agile methodology and life cycle of software and the different teams. They wanted to make sure that I was familiar
Mhm,
with it. So I had to describe exactly what the different teams do and the
mhm,
process of software development.
mhm.
Um, and I had to sound very confident about what it is I was talking about, given that I didn't even work in software development before.
Mhm.
The whole process of from a QA standpoint, testing, bug creation, how do you follow up on the different bugs? Everything to do with that. I mean, this was a while back, but that part kind of threw me off because yeah, you had to talk about the project manager, what's their role, the business associate, what's their role, the developers. um then we went into API, and
Nice.
I remember in the course the API was not my strong point at all. Working with Postman, I remember we created a library, and we had to make several calls to the library with the books that we created with the authors and stuff. And I was like,
Yeah.
like this part of software at all. But we had to do it. We had to do it, and it stuck. And good thing that you made us do all of
Yeah.
that.
Yep. And API during your time, it was one custom website I created separately for you guys for testing. But now the API testing is also part of the curriculum. So you're testing the same website through the UI as you're testing through the API. So
Really?
it's going to get settled in the brain much better than before. I know you're going to get jealous like everyone does.
That's not fair, Sergi.
I know. That's what everyone tells us. Imagine this: the girl who went through the second. You were in the group number 11, if I'm not mistaken.
That's
I
correct.
finally talked to the girl from group number 2, and I was reading materials from my laptop. That's it. We met with her right here in this actually office, and I would sit here and explain things. No
Wow.
videos, no quizzes. I would do everything on the fly. Everyone got a job. You got a job, she got a job, but she was so jealous when she saw the platform with a lot
Yeah.
of videos, quizzes, articles, and books. She's like, why did I not have it?
Yes, yes. And I checked out the website again and saw some of the materials there, and I'm definitely will be, checking it out some more to because I want to get a better job. So,
Mhm.
everything that you can do to improve yourself, expand your knowledge will definitely help because there are a lot of jobs out there. I've turned down jobs. Can you imagine that? I have turned down jobs because I felt like I was not qualified enough to do them. I
You know,
have.
I have recent so I saw that you have just noticed it, but now we have monthly webinars. After the graduation, we jump on the calls on a monthly basis, regardless if you are done or not. So feel free to join any one of those calls. The group,
Wow.
we have a closed group in a Telegram, which you are a part of, but you probably just never looked into it.
Yes.
So we have those calls, and recently I was on the webinar, and the very first student have joined, the guy from 2017, I
Wow.
believe, and he's working as the senior QA engineer or a manager now from Japan for American company. And he said that he's a Virgo. He said, when I was going through the surgery course, I was very shy. I was like, well, this is the senior position. I should not apply for it because I'm not qualified. And
Yeah.
I'm a Scorpio. I'm like, dude, shut up and apply for all of them. I'm telling you, we'll figure it out later. The company's right there. And he was like, okay. And then he said that the company he went for a senior position, they said, well, you are not senior enough, but we like you so much that we're gonna come back to you in a month. We're gonna be opening up a position for you. So they've opened up a new position for the guy that they like, based on the fact that he didn't pass an interview, but he made a great impression.
Right. Exactly.
So
Exactly.
talking about confidence and applying for the jobs that you don't think you qualify for. So you should always apply for a job regardless, even if you don't think you qualify for it. If you worth much more than you think you are.
Wow. That's true. I appreciate that advice. It's great advice.
Awesome. By the way, I think you forgot to hit that big fat thumb button below. If you're still enjoying this video, please do so. And also subscribe to our channel to help this guy to become more popular on YouTube. And mainly, share this video with your friends and leave a comment right below it. Tell me how thankful you are or how much does this video actually suck. Let's continue. And also another update that I have, well, I'm going to share it only with you and those who are going to watch this video. Now, we're recording all the interviews our people are going through, and we're sharing between our students only. So we could see live interviews, regardless what position you go for. Everything is recorded on the video or audio, but
Wow.
don't tell it to anyone.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We need all the preparation we can get.
Exactly. That's going to be much more efficient now.
Yes. 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 Trust me. I cannot stop telling you, Sergi, that your course helped me literally to change my life. Can you imagine walking away from a company that you've been for almost 18 years, a company that you're making a very good living, from? Um, but I wanted a change, and I'm a very loyal and I'm a very loyal person. So I stick to what I know. And that's part of the reason why I stayed at that company for so long. But I definitely wanted a career change. And I'm telling you, Codemify helped me so much. And it was scary to resign from that job and move on to something else, move on to the unknown world, and to be able to do something that I want, because I started that job because I just wanted a job. And now I actually started a career, something that I'm interested in, and I'm able to go to work and do it every day. That's just, it's amazing. It's an amazing feeling. It's an amazing feeling to be able to do something like that.
My greatest pleasure. I can tell you only one thing. It's a great pleasure to hear that you, the guy who didn't tell me that you found a job, now tell. I appreciate it, Greg. I appreciate it. All right, let me ask you maybe one more question. What would you change if you would start again today?
Hmm. You mean what would I do to change in the course?
What would you do differently if you would sign up for the course? If your wife would come to you like, "Hey, I found a course. Here's a surgery. Sign up," and you're like, "Okay, let me sign up." What would you change now?
Ah, I would I think I would stick to the schedule that I made for myself in studying, because a lot of the times I was playing catch up with my homework, and at the time I was working, and working and going to school is not easy, but I could have dedicated more time to the course. And even though I did not dedicate as much time as I should have, I still was able to go through the course successfully. But there are things that I would have connected more, because even after reviewing my coursework, after the course ended, after reviewing the coursework, certain things clicked. And I was like, man, this thing gave me such a hard time during the course, because I didn't dedicate enough time to it. And then I do not like to be late. I do not like to be behind, but I was playing catch up a lot of the times, playing catch
Mhm.
up. So having a good schedule and sticking to it, especially if you're in the course and you're working at the same time, you have to dedicate some time to it. And as Oleg would tell us all the time, is like, you need to go and do some reading in the parts that you are weak on.
Yeah.
For me, it was API. So I had to do a lot of reading in just the basics of API, because you're not going to be strong in every part of the subject material that is being taught. Most of it is brand new for most of us if you've never worked in software before. So starting from scratch, you have to not only depend on the course material that is given to you, but you have to do the supplemental reading, the supplemental practices that are out there. And Oleg was always posting to us supplemental reading material, which helps a lot if it's for the first time that you're looking at something. So if I was able to do it again, I would put more time into that.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much how our brain works. If you go through materials for the first time and then you come back later, you will understand. So for the first time, you will probably get like 30% or maybe 50% max.
Yeah.
The second time, you'll get 20% on the top of that because you have a base and you will add up new knowledge to it. And that's how it works. The more time you go through it, the better you will understand those materials.
That's very true. That's very, very true, because there were times that we would go through the weekly class on
Mhm.
live class,
Yep.
and things that are being taught there. A lot of the times I didn't get it. I really didn't. But the good thing is it was recorded. So I could always go back into the archive, retrieve the video after doing the supplemental reading and homework and stuff. And then what was discussed on the video started to make sense,
Mhm.
and it can be very frustrating if you don't do that because you're thinking, oh man, I'm not getting this. I'm not smart enough. I mean, look at me, man. I'm 44 years old and I'm doing,
Price help.
I'm, if I start, I'm doing JavaScript language for the first time. And I'm like, this is all brand new, you know, but I was able to do it, and it can be done. I'm living proof of that it can be done. You just have to put the time in that's needed.
And that's the major reason why people don't succeed. They just don't put enough time. If you
Yeah,
put enough time, there is no way you will not succeed. The question is just when will you?
that's true.
How long did it take you to find your first job?
After graduation, it took me 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Jesus Christ.
3
This
weeks.
I think you beat the record. You beat some of your classmates' records.
3 weeks. 3 weeks after I started, because I started to job hunt before the course ended.
Yeah.
And that's what you told us, because I was thinking, how can I look for a job when there's still course material that I haven't covered yet? How can I start looking for a job?
That's all about a math. You
Yeah,
you
exactly.
start applying for a job, it's gonna take some time for recruiters to ramp up on your resume, start giving you calls. While they're ramping up, you're still learning new materials, and when they give you the code, you will have majority of the knowledge.
Yeah,
And when you will get to the first or a second round, you'll probably be close to the end of the course. Even if not, you will still have enough knowledge to get the job.
that's true.
And you're living proof of it.
Yep. Yeah, I started looking for a job before the course was ended, man. So 3 weeks after the course was ended, I landed my first job.
I like to hear that. We don't even have to tell anyone that you did start applying for a job before you finished the course. Let's say just say 3 weeks and you got a job.
Yep. Yep.
Oh,
You know,
awesome.
and it was with a major company, and I'm thankful for that. So at least my resume will look, pretty good working for a major company doing it. So yeah.
Exactly. And I'll tell you about a couple of bugs I've found in their software on a website, by the way.
Exactly. Exactly.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, Greg. Honestly, appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to see you actually in 2 weeks on our monthly webinar with all of the graduates.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sergi. And thank you so much, Codemify community, and keep up the good work.
Thank you. And probably thank you to Alex, that guy who
And Alex as well.
he still remembers it like my buddy, Greg. How's he doing?
Yeah, Alex made a rip over here. I was like, man, I hate that guy so much because he just doesn't give you the answer that you're asking. He's like, okay, 1 + 1, what does that equal, Greg? You read this, Greg? Did you? But the answers were there. He would just point you to it.
It's so true.
If you're diligent in your work, you cannot fail. You will succeed.